Becoming a more social person and becoming a more socially aware person is a process. Yes, some people are going to be more naturally gifted at it than others, and yes, we're always going to preach being yourself around other people. But the reality is, a lot of us don't even know who we are yet when we're put in certain social situations. And if you're like me, you might have even avoided certain kinds of social situations just so you wouldn't have to deal with the pressure of knowing what to do, when to do it, what to say, just how to be normal in these types of environments. But over the course of being put in these situations over and over and over again, slowly we start to get more and more comfortable with it. But there's one thing that we can really do if we want to leave an impression as being a more socially aware person and as being a magnetic person for other people. Yo, it's your friendly neighborhood knucklehead, and in this video, I'm gonna talk to you about the power of truly listening. Now, we all might think that we're good listeners and that we're always listening to somebody, but maybe we're not as good as we think. Now, growing up, even into my 20s, even right now, I've always been a very verbose person. If you get me rolling on something that I'm passionate about, I can just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. But something that I've been working on is how to actually turn the tables and let someone else do that for a change, because chances are that's what most people want to do anyway. They want to get on a subject that they're passionate about and talk and talk and talk and talk. Hence me doing this right here with you, just talking to myself. But if we want to actually leave an impression, a positive impression on somebody when we have a conversation, we kind of have to have the goal of being present. Now, what does it really mean to be present? Well, for starters, we have to really embody the identity of being a listener. Now, how can we do that? Well, for starters, probably the number one thing that we need to do is when someone else is talking, we have to shy away from thinking and preparing our response to it and try to solely focus on understanding what they're saying and where they're coming from. And we also have to not be afraid of awkward silence or pauses. I remember when I was 19 years old and one of my first jobs was working at Ricky's New York. Shout out to Ricky's and RIP, because I think they're out of business now. But this was a retail store, a beauty store, where we sold all kinds of hair care, makeup, Halloween costumes, stuff like that. And we used to have this manager that came in, and he was from a different country. I think he was from Senegal. And he would come in and he would kind of listen to us, and he was a very stern and like stoic dude. But he had something about him that made you want to talk to him for some reason. And I remember one of these days I was in a conversation with him and he did not say much. And I was 19, so I was just yap, 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 yap. I have so much energy, right? And one day I asked him, I was like, how come you are so quiet, and how come, you don't really respond all that often? And again, he took a long pause and he kind of leaned back and he said to me, I like to think before I speak. And I thought that was something that was kind of intuitive, kind of obvious. We always hear that kind of phrase. But when you actually see someone do it, someone that's not afraid to let you talk and kind of give you that space and then craft their own response to it, it's actually incredibly powerful. And to take it a step further, to even prove that you were listening to that other person, after that pause, if you paraphrase what they were saying as a question to get them to know that you were paying attention, it immediately brings you at the same level that they are. You immediately both go on the same page. And that's what we really want as humans. We want to be on the same page with other people. That's really how we establish those connections. This is actually something that I learned from an active listening class. It was like a professional development thing that I did for a job a really long time ago. But the power of listening and mediating conversation, I was kind of doing it in a way to mediate conflicts. It was a management professional development course, but the power of active listening was so key. We don't need to agree with what they're saying to be able to understand it. A lot of times I like to look for the emotion. So if someone's telling a story about a family emergency or something like some kind of crises, what are the emotions that they're trying to express with the story? A lot of times it can be stressed out, feeling overwhelmed. Speaking to those emotions is how you really connect and create this magnetic attraction. And you also feel like a safe person to talk to because you're able to get it. You're able to get it on an emotional level as opposed to just regurgitating information or details or facts. Now, I am by no means an expert on this, but this is something I'm really trying to stay conscious of, is what is this person trying to get me to understand? What is the emotion behind this? And how can I respond in my own words with what they're telling me? Now, here's a little tidbit of information. If you find yourself arguing with another person, that is a real sign of improper listening. Arguments are usually two people trying to get the other one to bend to their will, trying to get the other person to come to their side of the fence as opposed to seeing it from the other person's side. So if you catch yourself in an argument with a friend, with a partner, or with whoever, step back and try these techniques. Step back and try to listen. Really try to understand where they're coming from, especially the emotion that they're trying to feel. Now, in a comment below, let me know, how do you know someone isn't listening to you? Now, if you're leveling up your game as a person or an artist right now, and you're stretching your identity and you want something to hold you accountable for this growth, you can check out the free coaching video that I have in the description to help get you started on how to organize yourself as a person and really start to develop this growth mentality. Now, if you want to work with me personally on how you can level up your game and really achieve the results that you are looking to get out of yourself, you can take a look in the comments, and I'm going to actually put an application for one-on-one coaching. I'm only going to take a handful of clients right now, so check that out if you're interested. Aside from all of that, up here I'm gonna have the full playlist of where you can learn even more artistic advice and awareness. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. Thanks for watching, and stay creative.